got no drip in my pocket. Must've forgot it, or maybe I already lost it. Don't got enough to go cop it, I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem, but that don't mean money will solve them. No, that don't mean money will solve them. Woke up dreaming of the commas, and I got $100 in my wallet. I've been trying to make it, do it for my mama. I ain't with the faking, never with the drama. She said that I'd make it, now I gotta honor that. Replace a Honda with the fucking Model X. Replace my exes with a couple models. She act out of pocket, now it's just a problem. I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it. No, really, don't worry. I don't want no Burberry glowing like the sun, or maybe a little Mercury. Shooting like I'm Booker, but nobody ever heard of me. You don't got 5 O's when I say word to me. Nah, but really, y'all been acting silly. I could care less if you fucking with me, cause I still got the checks coming 150. I got no drip in my pocket, yeah.
Everyone, welcome to today's episode. I am very excited to have Natasha Moor join us today. This is super exciting, and I'm sure that everyone's going to really enjoy this episode. So Natasha Moor is a makeup artist, and she is also the CEO of Natasha Moor. It's a fantastic company that is doing a lot of work to empower women around the world using makeup. And I personally don't know a huge amount about makeup, but so today is going to be very enlightening for me as well as many others, I'm sure. I may have worn it once or twice, but we don't need to talk about that too much.
I love that. I'm going to interrupt you on that.
yeah, for sure. But first of all, before we get into, we're going to talk about your journey, how you got to where you are today. But I would love to know more about, what you're up to currently, where you are. So let's start with that. So how are you and where are you?
Hi. I know it's always a funny question when I have an interview. Someone's always like, which country are you in today? Where do you live? Do you live in the sky? Especially prior to COVID, I was on a flight every 3 days. As a makeup artist, I would travel internationally and just do makeup on brides and clients and shoots. And that's really how I got my foundation in the business. Mm-hmm. And that's why I started my brand, actually. So I'm actually currently in London.
Yeah. So you're in
London.
How
is Sweden? I've always wanted to go. I don't think I've ever been.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. Oh, I lost you.
Sorry. Just had to close the door. So there was no background noise. Sorry.
I thought you'd had enough. I thought you'd exited already. I was like, that's
No, I just wanted to close the door.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
Slightly alarmed for a second, but it's fine. I was like, no, was I that bad?
No, right. Sorry.
No. Sweden is cool. It's literally cool. It's freezing a lot of the time. But it's a beautiful country. Lots of landscape, lots of space. It's very different to Hong Kong, which is obviously what I got used to after being there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like it. It's super different to anywhere I've been before. I mean, people are different. The weather is kind of like the UK, but probably colder.
Oh wow!
During the winter time, the summers are pretty pleasant. I say that as I look out my window and it's cloudy and raining, but I'm shivering.
It's not super cold here. I mean, it's not super sunny here either. New York was beautiful weather.
Okay.
It was incredible.
Yeah. I've not been to New York. It's a city that I am desperate to go to, but
it's the city that every time I land, I fall in love with that place. I'm just in love with everyone, the taxi drivers, everyone, the security at the airport. Everyone's just so friendly, and it's such a warm place. I love it. Even though people normally say that New York has the rudest people in the world, you really don't. I love them.
I've heard that, but then my parents went to New York, and I know other people that have, they've all said the same, that the people are lovely and it's an awesome city. So I definitely want to go there. And you were in New York and you're in London. Is that on business, or are you always on business? Okay.
Always on business.
Hey, what up, say? Yeah, now I rep the O, what you know about the west side. I just bought a whip, all in cash, live my best life. Bought a couple stocks, so I'm covered for the next 5. I don't like the top, but I will if you test my patience. I'm patiently waiting, thinking you know me, but you've been mistaken. Alone in my crib, I like it vacant. Up in the morning, faking. Don't let it cap and I don't let it faking. I need a bag and it's mine for the taking. Liquor and women, I'm never chasing. She don't know me, but she know that I'm famous. And I got way too much money coming out of woodwork. Remember back then, dog, I told them that it would work. They ain't take it serious, I showed them that I could first. Now I got a crib off the streams, so that's good. I got way too much money coming out of woodwork. Remember back then, dog, I told them that it would work. They ain't take it serious, I showed them that I could first. Now I got a crib off the streams.
The last time I took a proper holiday was a very long time ago. And every time I've had to maybe have a holiday, I've always thrown it back into work. I've had some meeting or the other come up and made sure that, because that's kind of essentially what happens when you have your own business, right? Everything becomes work. Everything. Even my birthdays in the last, before COVID, if I've had to be in Bali, it's because I've had to be there for a bride. And then I extend for my birthday. So.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You're a busy lady. I'm very honored that you agreed to come on the podcast.
No, of course.
And, I have lots of questions that I wanted to throw your way, because it's very interesting, everything that you're doing. You live currently, you are based in Hong Kong or in Dubai or?
Funny story. Do you want the full story or the short version?
give us everything. Why not? Yeah.
Okay. So I am actually born and brought up in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, I lived in the sky, literally traveled every 3 days. And it was not just, Asia, it was traveling internationally, whether it was trade shows in Vegas or a client in Mexico or in Italy, and then the next day in Bali, in Jakarta, in Thailand. So it was literally living out of a suitcase for about 3 years of my life, constantly. And I loved it. It was amazing. Of course, it's tiring and it's not as glamorous as it sounds. It sounds very like, oh, she's living the life. She's on a plane every day. But literally, that's where I would sleep. I would sleep on the plane, land, wake up, hustle. Because I obviously was building and developing a cosmetic brand, as well as doing makeup on these international brides and, photo shoots and films. Mainly, I focused on brides. And the reason I did is because I found there was so much love and confidence that I was able to give these women on, weddings are the biggest days of your life, pretty much for most women. And most women grow up with this excitement factor in their heart of, oh my God, I'm going to get married. This is super exciting. I want to look my very best. And what I discovered was when I would do people's makeup, they would always say, oh my God, I look incredible. And I look like the best version of myself. And that makes me so happy because I grew up extremely insecure. I grew up with low self-esteem, zero confidence. Until today, I think I struggle to look good or to feel good. Sorry. And every time I do my makeup, I know that sometimes I'll be like, okay, force yourself to say you look good. Because if you're able to do this for other people, why can't you do it for yourself?
Yeah.
So it kind of grew into this whole, I don't know how to explain it, but it grew into this whole goal of mine to be able to have self-love, but also to be able to give this love to women all around the world, not just by physically doing their makeup, but by having products that made them feel like this. So I went and visited. Now I'm getting into my whole life story here. If you ask me one question,
it's okay. It's okay. It's a recorded conversation. And I will work wonders with it all afterwards. Don't worry.
Okay.
No, carry on.
So I actually started my brand because of that purpose. I knew that I needed to make women all around the world feel confident, and because I wasn't able to ever have that, I wanted everyone. It's so cheesy. I want the whole world to feel beautiful from within. And so I actually went and visited women's shelters, drug and rehab facilities, women's shelters, to just do their makeup and see, okay, these women normally pay me money to fly me to different countries to do their makeup. Of course, they're going to feel confident, right? In their head, they're like, I paid her, I must feel good. What about the women that actually need this confidence boost the most, right? These women, this was almost like a test to me to see if I was actually talented or if I actually had this skill to make women confident. And sure enough, I was right. That's the one thing I have confidence in myself, is that I know that I can make women feel confident through the powerful transformative tools of makeup. And I don't mean to say that makeup changes you and makeup can make you look amazing. And that's not what I'm saying, or that you need makeup. It's more that it can add this little enhancement to your life to make you feel that confidence and that power.
It's nice that you're giving women an opportunity to try out this makeup as well, because in some of these places you've spoken about, I imagine that they don't have necessary funds to be able to have such a luxury of wearing makeup. And so it's nice that they were able to have that experience and to have it given to them by someone who's so professional and who really knows the craft and the industry so well. So it's a really nice touch, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
But that's actually why I started it, because I found my own purpose in life was to make everyone, no matter who it was. And in fact, there's an ongoing inside joke within my company. My CFO and my operations manager, they all kind of make fun of me, because if I have a lipstick in my bag and I go out on a night out, if I have a few lipsticks, it won't come back to me, because I will make sure every single person has it. So in Hong Kong, every cleaner in bathrooms of clubs and restaurants, they always, I feel like those women, they're always around women putting on their lipsticks, and they must be looking and saying, oh, I want to feel that too. So every time I give them lipsticks, they get so happy and they'll remember me and they're like, Natasha, I'm wearing your lipstick today. It's just the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
That for me is, and so it's an ongoing joke that, like, Natasha, you're supposed to sell your products, not just be charity and giving it to every single human being you meet.
Yeah.
My nickname is Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly. You're the Santa Claus of the makeup world. I love it.
I am.
You're not gonna wear a white beard though, right? And put on the red outfit.
Maybe I should. Maybe I'll be Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus. Yeah, that's a new bit of promo right there. Nice title. All right. So you initially, before creating this company, you were doing a lot of, and still are doing a lot of makeup for. You mentioned films, and you've mentioned weddings and all that sort of thing. Can you give us an insight into, firstly, the Indian weddings that you do a lot of work on? So are there any particular stories you could jump into, or any maybe some well-known names in that particular part of the world? Or that would be very interesting to know.
Sure. So Indian weddings in itself are a whole different ballgame. Have you ever been to one?
I have, actually, because my sister-in-law is she's Indian American. So my wife's brother is from Sweden, and they got married in Mumbai. So that was back in 2012. And they had this big venue, and it was incredibly, I'd never experienced anything like it before in my life. 6 days. Yeah. I think it was about 6 days. And it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it. All the clothes that we were wearing, and we were putting stuff on ourselves, and it was fabulous, and all the food.
Indian weddings in general there's so much that goes into it. And one of the most important things is obviously, well, for me, the most important thing is the bride, because at the end of the day, she's the star of the show. Whether there's 500 people, 1,000 people, of course, it's also about the groom, not gonna lie. And nowadays, men also get equally as excited. But women have, so an Indian wedding generally is about 3 to 4 days, sometimes longer, like you said, 6 days. And there's about 2 looks per day. So as a makeup artist, I'm getting a bride ready and my schedule starts, and people don't know this. They just think that, oh, wow, she just gets ready and that's it. She just does makeup and that's it. So I actually am very fast at doing makeup. It takes me about an hour to do a face, about 45 minutes to an hour to do a full face. But what I started to notice as soon as I started my path into makeup artistry for weddings is that there's so much more to it than just applying makeup. And anyone can be a makeup artist, but not everyone can have that touch of, you really have to be almost maternal in a way and take care of the person that you're doing up. Because again, you're a psychiatrist, there's so much going on at the wedding. You have to be the person that is always calm, that's always there for the bride, that's almost like her best friend, her mother, her psychiatrist, her everything. I've had some crazy stories of things that I've had to do for brides, and you can't be a diva. And that's the thing that a lot of makeup artists, you know, when they're a little bit more of a celebrity level, they think that, oh, you know, I can be a diva and it's all about me. The one thing I say, being a makeup artist, it's not about you. And I may have my contract with my rules and this and that, but at the end of the day, when I reach a wedding and I do a bride's makeup, it's full-fledged, like all about her. I'm princessing her, I'm dolling her up. So I start work. So for example, if she has an event at noon, I will start at 9. So I have a whole setup. I have 60 kilos that I bring with me, like 40 to 60 kilos, depending. Travel with a lot of stuff. My lighting. I actually love photography, and I started my journey in life as a photographer when I was in university. So I take my own photos of the brides because I realized that they don't get their professional photos until much later. And so they want to enjoy the moment. They want to make sure they capture their face, their fiance, their family. And so I'm very hands-on. I do everything basically. Mm-hmm. So I do my setup. And if she has to be ready by 12, then I start by 9 because I finish her makeup. Then I put her in her clothes. I style her. I, you know, pose her. I take photos of her because a lot of brides don't know how to pose. In fact, one of the things brides always call me and say is, Natasha, I don't have abs the way all your brides do. Or Natasha, I'm not a supermodel like all your brides. I'm like, no. I show them how to pose for photos. Don't worry, this is not how it is. And then they see these photos and they're like, oh, that confidence level is just everything.
Wow. So I mean, that's pretty mind blowing. So you're really not just going in there and doing the makeup. It's everything. It's everything.
No. And when it was at the peak, so for 12 o'clock would be the event. So I have a break between 1 to like 5 maybe. Yeah. And between that break is when I'm working on my cosmetic brand, or when I'm at the gym, lunch, cosmetic brand. That's generally how I would do it. Okay. Right. So then I'd start her makeup again for 5 for an 8 o'clock event. And then when I was at my peak period, when I kind of did a lot of different businesses at this point, it was also about empowering women. My brand is about empowering women, right? So even our shade names are Game Changer, Hustler, CEO, Drive, and that was also to be used as affirmations for women. And so what I found in common with me, at least, is always wanting to be able to empower women in different ways. So even when I was doing a bride's makeup, so let's say at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, they enter the ballroom. I would also have to dress up because they invite me to the weddings. And so I would go to a lot of weddings, and I found this is another opportunity for me to be able to promote other women businesses by wearing their clothes and jewelry. So I would get a lot of sponsorships from designers to wear their clothes and jewelry. Little did I know that, okay, 9:30, the bride enters. I don't leave the room till the bride leaves. So about 10:30, I would enter the ballroom. Full hair and makeup. I would have to do my clothes, my jewelry, get super dressed up. And then by midnight, I'd enter the ballroom, or, you know, Cinderella style, or 11:30. And as soon as I would do that, like, I'd have to take photos with people, take photos of myself. So it was so hectic. And then again, start my day again at 6:30 in the morning.
Wow.
So I barely slept, and it was back to back different countries.
Yeah. And how do you do that? Like, this wasn't one of my questions, but how do you maintain that level of work ethic, you know, the longevity, the energy, the attention to detail that goes into what you do? How do you keep that going over a long period of time without, you know, the possibility of burning out, or, I don't know, losing interest in what it is you're doing? Because it's almost like you're an athlete in a way. I mean, the level of detail and the focus and the physical energy that goes into that, it sounds a lot. So how do you keep that going? How do you maintain that?
So I think everything is the power of the mind. So I think that if you're able to tell yourself that you'll be okay and and also it's about being real. It's not like I'm always positive and smiling and happy every single day. I have to keep it real. Like, I have breakdowns regularly. It's a business. And, you know, with someone who has so much passion to want to not just succeed, but to genuinely see people feel the confidence through makeup. Like, I know my purpose. And when I see a bride feel that confidence and that power, I can't explain. It's like suddenly I get this boost of energy from that. It's very strange. And even when I'm traveling.
I was just sorry to interrupt you, but I had a sudden thought of like, it's completely different. I'm aware of that, but to teach children, for example, and the energy and focus that can go into that, and how exhausting that can be. But when you see the impact, not even necessarily a child, but just teaching or coaching in general, when you get that feedback from that person that you've worked with, and you can see that they have taken something from it, you boosted their self-esteem, they've gone away learning something new. I mean, that's a lot of what I do on the side of this, and that's what keeps me going. So it sounds like there's some sort of parallel there almost with
definitely. I think it's with anything that you have passion towards. If you want to see someone succeed, or if you really, really love what you do and you see things come out of it in a positive way, then you'll be happy. And this is actually advice that I got from my father. He is a training consultant. He's written a book about understanding people called The P Factor. And he's just always guided me on leadership skills, public speaking. And he's always said that, you don't have to worry so much, because if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And you hear that. But when it actually happens to you, and, I've had so many moments of breakdowns at airports with, 60 kilos carrying everything by myself. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'll cry, I'll be emo, and then I'll get to the place and I'm like, I'm so unappreciated. I hate this. It's real. I'm not going to lie and say I'm always happy. And then I get to the place, do my setup. As soon as the makeup is done, wow, I'm like, this is why I do what I do. This is, that's that confidence boost I get from it as well.
Amazing.
And that's like my fuel. But again, it's also power of the mind. It's also, I fast a lot, I work out a lot, because I want to keep my energy levels up. And I think a lot of people end up feeling sorry for themselves when they're in a position of working so much. And you just have to keep remembering that you have to do this and I've been guilty of that too, where I'm just like, I've worked so hard. Why am I not seeing things happen the way I want to? But it's always good to reflect and see, look where you've come. Just see how far you've come. And it's hard when you're such a driven person and you want so much to see negatives all the time. So it's about channeling that energy.
So you mentioned a lot about empowering women through makeup. Is it on the cards at all? Is it something that you've considered at any point to empower men as well through makeup that may want to wear? Because I'm just thinking about, I know someone that is actually that is transgender, and who recently has gone through that sort of transformation, and they have started, not experimenting with makeup, but trying different makeups and just sort of getting a feel for it, but not really knowing how to go about doing it. It's something that they didn't have to do for a long time in their life. And then suddenly now they feel that either they feel that they should wear it, or they just want to try it. I'm not exactly sure, but I wonder whether, with the power that you have and the influence that you have, whether that is something that you are looking into or would be interested in exploring if you haven't done so already.
100%. In fact, every time someone says, why is it always about empower women? I always say that is not true. It's not just about that. The people who have empowered me are some of the men in my life. I just mentioned my father. My boyfriend's been very supportive of so many things. And my CFO, these men have actually played a huge role in empowering me. So I can never really say that it's only about wanting to share that with women. And to your point with men and makeup, I think that's such an interesting thing, because it's like people aren't comfortable yet with men. Aren't really comfortable yet, but I cannot tell you how many DMs I get from men saying, what should I do about my skin or my hair? Or there's always that concern. So I'm always happy to help, help understand how to use the makeup. And that's a really great idea, to work with transgenders and show them how they could properly enhance their faces and features to look probably the way that they want to. So yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I would love to.
Cool.
It's about really making anyone feel that they're part of this. It's about building that community of confidence.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Also, our
Nice.
products kind of look like James Bond tools. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
it. So
wow. It's
men
spark.
generally
Oh,
love
I
that.
love it. I love that.
They're like, ooh. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's broken.
I would put that on in a second, just so I could do
Yeah,
that
you put this concealer on.
Yeah, just at the beginning, just so I could do that. I would willingly put it on. Yeah. Now you don't have to do this actually, but I know that you do sort of tutorials and things like that online in in how to put on makeup. Is that something that you could do a little snippet of for us?
Yes.
Now?
I actually didn't do my eyes today so that you could see, but I wanted to give you the option of, do you want me to remove? I just have concealer on. Do you want me to remove half my side of my face, or would you like me to do my eye makeup? What would you prefer?
Oh my goodness, this is a question that no one has ever asked me before.
Would you like me to remove my complete face?
I would put yes. Well, I mean, yes. I don't want you. Don't work too hard.
It's okay. It takes a second. It's really not that much.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I will do it on screen. I don't mind. I'm just going to use a wipe.
Very surreal for me right now, but
to watch someone remove their makeup.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done this before.
Yeah. So lipstick makes a big difference on people's face. I'll do half my face so that you can see the difference. I think that'll be more impactful for you. Men, when I show before and afters, they're generally like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Not a good thing, but it's good to also show how our products are used and how, here, I'm done. That's it. So I'm just going to spray my, Okay. So you can see this side has a lot more dark circles. And what I like to do is just enhance. So this side, it's not like I have that much makeup on, as you saw. It's just that it's that little added touch of confidence boost that, wait, let me just put my moisturizer on and then I'll talk you through it. Okay. So I don't know if you of course can see the difference between one eye and the other, right? Or one side.
There is a little difference there, yeah, for sure.
A little different. So for men, I think here, this light is better. So for men, what they always say is, I really love, or, I've had fathers of brides always say this to me. And that's when I know I'm like, wow, I've made it in life. If a father says this to me, it's a big deal. He'll always come up to me at the wedding and say, you know what? Thank you so much for making my daughter look like herself.
Yeah.
But just the best version of it. And so that's really my goal, even with my products, is less is more, with no pun intended. So you can see here, I have dark circles, not dramatic, but I do have dark circles and pigmentation that needs to be concealed so that it just looks a little bit more even, but without changing myself too much. Like I don't look like a different person.
No, at all.
I remember even the first time I met my boyfriend, when he saw me without makeup, he's like, oh, you look the same. I wouldn't have thought, because makeup artist, right?
Yeah.
So it's always that, I think men always have that fear that, oh my God, if she's wearing so much makeup, is she,
right.
So yeah, anyways, should I start?
Yes, please, by all means. Yeah. I'm very excited.
This is an orange corrector. And it also comes in the little, it's called No Bag Vibes.
Okay.
And this is our warrior sponge, which I have damp. And I'm just pressing that into my eyes. Now, the reason why we use an orange is this is really good for men to know, because men do want to conceal dark circles. So what it does is it cancels out the grays, the purples, the blues, the hues in our skin that we don't want. So if you just go ahead and apply a concealer without doing the orange, it won't block the color. It'll just look gray. So that's what a color corrector does. And that's why it's a very important step for people who have dramatic dark circles. I personally don't use this on an everyday basis because my dark circles aren't that bad. Now this right here is my Liquid Magic Concealer. And it's my holy grail product. And it's very easy I don't like foundation. So I just apply a little bit like this. And again, easy for men to do.
Does it have to be in a cross like the way you did it there?
That's my trick. So the reason why I do the cross is so that it reaches all areas and blends easily without it being too much. Because if I just applied a lot here, you won't access your whole face without, like I said, I love it really natural. So just pressing and blending is, look, you'll see. It just kind of, it does the trick. And also this blender I worked on for 2 years to create. It's amazing. So yeah, and then I'm just going to go in a little bit on the areas that I feel need a bit more, like here. That's it. And then pressing and blending it into my skin. And that's really all I do for my face, even on a heavy night out. It's actually a 3-step process, and I just did 2 steps today because I didn't need the full coverage. But just pressing and blending like that. And that's how you get your ideal look without it looking too heavy. I'm now going to just use a little powder to set it.
And is this what you would do for weddings as well, or is that a more advanced process?
It can be the same way, or it can be, it depends on the person's skin, right? Sometimes we do a really heavy look. Well, not heavy. Everything I do is kind of, I keep it to the skin level. Like, so I don't use foundation on any of my brides, and I never have. Maybe in the beginning of my career. That's why I created this 3-step process, so that people can use this, so people can have this look without it being too heavy, and it lasts the whole night. Their skin feels great. They feel this like confidence boost just from looking like themselves.
Sure.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to use a little bronzer just to even out my skin. So you'll see it's really quick what I'm doing.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all, does it? Amazing.
Not at all. Not at all. And you'll see the biggest change will be lipstick, and then blush, and then I would do my mascara and good to go. Yeah, and I'll blend that.
And how did you, in the early days, how did you learn how to do all of this? Like, what was did you do I presume you did some form of training or a course or this, that, and the other?
Yes.
Yeah.
So funny story. When I was in primary 3 in school, my teacher got fired from school because she would make me do her hair and makeup every day. So as like a little kid, I've always had this passion, and she used and abused me. Like, she literally would be like, "Oh, Natasha," and I'd braid her hair, I'd bring my makeup in, and I would do her. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
And they found out, and she got fired because of it. And I was like, well, you used the little child, and I loved it. But that just proves to you how much I love makeup and how much I loved the impact. And even as a kid, I knew that sorry, I look really funny with this right now.
So that was when it begun then? That was the moment when you were working on your teacher's hair in the classroom?
Exactly. I'm just going to apply lipstick so my skin, so it looks all even, and then we can continue talking. Okay, lipstick, and then that's it. So these are our lipsticks, by the way. It has a little mirror on it, so it's like perfect for on the go. Yeah, that's it. And this one's called Legacy.
It's called what? Sorry.
Legacy.
Legacy. Very good. Very good.
Your
nice.
So yeah, I started my career off first in PR and marketing, and helped create a brand. And really, I was doing really well because I studied fashion PR in London, actually, in the London College of Fashion. I went back to Hong Kong and helped someone start up a business. But when I was working, I had to do different departments. And there was one department where we needed to hire models and work on, obviously, and there was a low budget all the time. So they were like, "Oh, Natasha, since you're coordinating, you do everything." And the models would come in with not having a makeup done. So I would do that. Or there would be products that we'd have to shoot and show. This is when I really discovered this is my passion. There would be like products that we'd have to shoot for commercials and infomercials. And the model would have to have a bruise on her arm, or, you know, a burn. And so I just started YouTubing and finding out, how do I create bruises through special effects makeup? And I started doing that. I was so hands-on. I would write the scripts, I would do this. And then I just thought, and I would go to events and people would ask me who did my makeup. And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to start this as a side hustle. I started my little beauty blog. I started doing people's makeup. And then I went to my parents and said, I want to be a makeup artist. So today I'm going to show you my 3-step process, conceal and conquer. Now, conceal and conquer is something I created myself because as a makeup artist, I'm not a fan of having a lot of makeup on. I like keeping to my natural self. I like being the best version of myself. And I found that that was kind of my forte with my clients as well. So every time I do someone's makeup, I make sure that they look like themselves, just the enhanced, more confident version. And that's the best way to put it. That being said, let's start with my 3-step process. Now I'm gonna start with the first thing, our No Bag Vibes corrector. So No Bag Vibes is actually, I created this to be the perfect orange to target dark circles. So a lot of my clients would ask me, how do I combat dark circles? Now, I mean, I don't need to give you the whole story of why we use a corrector, but it's very important to have a corrector that's bright enough to kind of get rid of the blues and the grays and the purples in our skin. So I don't have dramatic eye bags, but I have a little bit of dark circles. And so what I would do is just apply that right over there, right underneath my, like that. Now what I'm gonna do is take my amazing Warrior sponge, another beautiful product that I created a couple of years ago actually. It's taken me a long time to create such a perfect sponge. It's sharp at the edges over here so that it's perfect for contouring. It's extremely soft, so it's perfect for sensitive skin. And it's obviously got an extreme point here, which is great because it reaches on the inner corner of your eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's damp right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just blend that into my skin. The best way to do that is to press lightly and just blend it into my skin like that. If you need some moisture on your skin, the best thing to do is kind of use an oil or a moisturizer. I'm gonna use my Issa Laszlo oil. I'm just gonna do a couple of drops or a drop and just kind of press that into my skin a little, just so that it hydrates. And this doesn't necessarily work for people with oily skin, but if your skin is generally dry, then this is what you'd want to do just to give you an extra glow. And I love Issa Laszlo's products, it's incredible. Okay, so I've blended that into my skin. Now the second step is my Secret Perfector 3. Now I also made this look like a little lipstick with, if you haven't seen our products just yet, it has a mirror over here. You press the button and the lipstick or the concealer or the No Bag Vibes comes right out. And it's got a mirror on the go, so you kind of just, you can apply it just like this. So just underneath your eyes, coming down into your skin, and any sort of redness or areas that you feel like need concealing, that's where you would apply it. I like to create a little X. So this is my replacement for foundation. I don't need foundation, and neither do you. Conceal with the blender and blend. Press it into your skin, and I'm just using very, very light movements. I'm not pressing heavy into my skin so that it doesn't take away any product. You see here, same thing on this side. And now what this really does is it acts as a canvas to just blend and create this beautiful, flawless base on your skin. The next thing I'm gonna do is use my Liquid Magic. This is the holy grail product that if I always get asked if there's one thing that I can't live without, what would it be? Besides my boyfriend and my family. It would be my Liquid Magic concealer. It's just incredible. It's very hydrating. The raw material that we've used actually plumps the under eyes. So I've spent a lot of time creating this product because I didn't want it to be super thick, and I wanted it to be able to just do the trick of concealing but also hydrating and keeping you looking really fresh all day long. And you know, as a bridal makeup artist, my goal in mind was always to make sure that it's super long lasting, because my clients party from like 10 a.m. all the way till the next day till 4 a.m. It's just Indian weddings. It is how it is. So as you can see, I'm pressing it into my skin, and you can see that I'm going really into the inner corner over here. And you can see that that coverage is really good. It's doing the trick. And one of my biggest insecurities growing up was acne, because I had severe acne. So even now when I get a little pimple, I get really upset. So having a heavy face of foundation is not the best thing because it just masks it and it sometimes can make it look worse. So I've created the products to be really good for sensitive skin because I have sensitive skin. I'm gonna apply a little bit more just underneath my areas that need a little bit more lifting, like my dark circles from not sleeping last night. And then just pressing it. And then the next step I'm going to use is a translucent powder. I'm using Laura Mercier's translucent powder. I haven't yet found another powder that I like as much as this one. I really do like this one. And I've tried a lot, but this one's probably the lightest and the one that like sticks to me best and works on all my clients. So I'm just going to apply that right underneath my eyes. Same thing on the other side. So I'm just gonna blend it all together like this. And there you go. This is how I conceal and conquer. This is really just my 3-step. It's super easy and it just makes you feel so much more confident. Just having this and being able to go out and know that, you know, obviously on top of this you can do your bronzer, your eyes, but knowing that my skin feels fresh, it feels light. It doesn't feel like there's so much on my face. I love this, and I know that a lot of my clients and people who have been so supportive and loving have actually really liked the 3-step process. So I really hope you guys like it too. We're available on Macy's.com, we're available on Amazon, we're available on NatashaMoor.com, Sephora, Southeast Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, and Hong Kong. We are going to expand and launch globally, and I really, really hope that you guys get your hands on this. And I remember my dad and mom were like, okay, because back then, 7 years ago, it wasn't really a thing as it is now. It wasn't like as accepted, and especially in our society, because I remember my grandma, she was like, what? You're going to be touching people's faces? And like, it's a service thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? Service? No service. And I was like, well, it wasn't like as well reputed as anything else. So I just kind of went for it. And I was like, I don't really care. This makes me happy. I'm going to do it. So I did a short course in New York, learned how to use the tools. A year after, had this whole business idea to start brushes, which was my first brand ever, actually, called Face Tools. And it was my testing period. You know, I saved all this money to launch this brand, and it was great. It was $300 for a set of luxury brushes, which taught you how to use each product. And it was so fabulous that it wasn't a good business because people kept the brushes for 5 years. They would never replace it. They were such good, you know, items. And so when I was about to restock, I thought, this is not a good business idea. I'm going to use all that and do something else and start a cosmetic brand full on, where people can, you know, as a business, do a smart thing by having people buy one lipstick and then, you know, build from there. That's how it really started.
Wow. Amazing. And what kind of, have you done any makeup for sort of special effects makeup then and things like that for films? And what's the wildest thing that you've managed, that you've had to create, the most gory thing, or the most impressive? Can you think of something that's
so many? Yes, I love it. Actually, another funny story. I look like such a good girl, and like such a, not good girl, but like I look like very, people have a different perception of me, like, oh, she's so put together, but I'm actually quite gross, especially with special effects makeup. So I remember I'm contacting this amazing photographer in Hong Kong. They're actually UK based. It was a husband and wife duo, Nick and Beck Gaunt. I don't know if you know them since you were in Hong Kong.
Nick and...
You must. Rebecca Gaunt and Nick.
Yeah, what was Nick's second name?
Gaunt, Gaunt.
Nick Gaunt.
They were called the Gaunt. The Gaunt was their thing.
No,
anyways,
yeah.
They were doing a bunch of special effects, and I just reached out to them and I said, look, can I collaborate with you? And I really want to do this. And she comes, she's like, darling, you're so bridal. There's no way that you can do this. no, yeah, I don't think this is for you. And I was like, no, I'm crazy. I promise you, I'm
I'm
crazy.
crazy, I
can do it.
promise you.
And she's like, no, darling, no, I'm sorry. We need someone who really can do it. And I was like, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. And I came and it was like, I was doing it for free. Like I wanted to collaborate, but I really wanted to prove myself. And I went, and I remember I had to do this cut open heart with blood coming out. It was a really cool shot. And that's where I met Inez for the first time, actually. We had to paint her whole body white, and it was a nude shoot and wrap her up with ropes. And she was the model. And so I had to do this on a guy with this cut open heart and blood and pus and everything. When I first did it, they came and they were like, oh my God, it's so disgusting. You need to tone it down. And I was like, see what I mean?
Yeah. That's
and then
great.
from there, I just love special effects. I actually did a film recently, a Bollywood film, which is coming out soon. I don't think I can disclose what I did because the movie hasn't released yet, but it was pretty disgusting.
Well, you have to let me know when it comes out so I can watch it.
For sure. Well, the movie's called 99 Songs.
Okay.
And it was with one of my biggest mentors in life, actually, Lisa Ray. She's an amazing Bollywood actress.
I met Lisa Ray. She's
oh really?
Yeah, I went to a party with Chowke. I don't know if you know Chowke. No. She runs a yoga institute in Discovery Bay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She lives in Discovery Bay.
Yeah. And Lisa Ray was at that party, and I met her there, and we were chatting, and I met her husband as well, and they were actually just about to leave. They were leaving Hong Kong like very imminently. But she was really lovely and so down to earth. I didn't realize how, she's like a mega star, and and her whole demeanor was just so relaxed, so casual. You never would have known it. My biggest
inspiration. Exactly. She's been there for me since before, when I just started my brand, through my personal life. Like, she's not just my mentor. She's the person that I can go to with anything. And I know I'll get the best advice.
Yeah.
So I did a movie with her.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, well, I'm hoping that she'll come on my podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping she will at some point. But you're all so busy. It's very impressive. Good. All right. So we're flying along. You've traveled to lots of countries, as we talked about at the beginning, through work. Do you have a favorite place that you've been to? A particular country that you just thought, I would love to live here given the chance? And why?
Well, I used to say that about Dubai, and then I now live in Dubai. That was your initial question. Yes. I didn't even get to that.
Yeah. So you live in Dubai, not Hong Kong right now.
Right now, I've kind of temporarily moved there because I can't get back to Hong Kong. Hong Kong has a 21-day quarantine situation.
Yeah.
So I'm just making the most of my life right now and living from wherever I can. And Dubai is a beautiful place. I love the energy. I love the people. I love the convenience. That's one thing that I don't think anywhere in the world has that. At 4 a.m, if you need medicines, you get it delivered to your house.
Really?
It's great. I've never experienced anything like it. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. Yeah. So I do love Dubai. I love Bali. I love the vibe I get in Bali. It's just like, I don't think I could live there, but it's one of my favorite places for sure.
A lot of people that live in Hong Kong go to Bali on holidays, don't they? It's a very popular trip.
Well, I used to go for work. It was the most popular wedding destination.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. So,
I think you find joy in anywhere you go. I like, make the most of everything. New York, LA. I feel like when I go to a place, even if it's for a week now, I'm making it a point to really make it my home, make friends, because that's just the best way to live your life.
Yeah.
I feel like in New York, the cleaners and around the corner are my friends. The coffee guy is my friend. I love it.
Nice. That's a nice quality to have, to be super sociable with, everyone, not just people but strangers as well. It's nice.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick one country other than Dubai to live in that you've been to, I'm being very difficult, I know, but
You're being so difficult, because I would love I'll tell you, what about I pick out things about each country
sure.
and
Let's do
form
that.
the ideal Natasha Moor country. So I
Let's
would
do
do the
that.
convenience of Dubai.
Mhm.
Also the convenience of New York, in the sense that, you just walk everywhere all day, every day, and it's so easy to get around. And the vibe and the energy in New York. In LA for me would be great for business. So I would love to live there. I think LA would be my closest place to probably settle down, just because everything for me is business related. And if I wanted to raise a family, it would probably be the easier option than New York. Right. Just, it's more, and I've always been a person that's wanted a nice big family and have children and running around in the garden. So I just feel like LA would be ideal.
And you think LA would be more suitable for raising a family?
I think so. Yeah. Definitely not Hong Kong. Hong Kong is probably one of the places I don't see myself living in, for sure. I love it. It's a beautiful energy, but it was at the time it was fine. But for me, it's just a little bit too, I don't know, maybe it's not as expanded enough in a way. I don't know. I feel very closed in Hong Kong.
Yeah, you do have obviously the beaches and the hiking and this, that, and the other, and the little villages on the outskirts. But you're right, somewhere I suppose like LA, where you can kind of live a bit suburban if you want to, if you get sort of out of the main, but you can also easily get into the action as well. Exactly.
Yeah. And for business, it's just great for me.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I can imagine it would be awesome.
Yeah.
So that's somewhere then you might kind of see yourself then. So because one of my other questions was sort of like in 10 years, let's say, where do you see Natasha Moor and
Cosmetics?
Your company? Yeah, cosmetics. Okay. And sort of where do you see yourself and your company in 10 years time?
I can, in 10 years time, I think I know our brand will be global for sure. I mean, we've just launched in Macy's in the US. Okay. We've just launched in Sephora Southeast, well, not just launched, about a year and a half now, Sephora in Southeast Asia. And that was a big dream come true. And so now I'm working really on building the brand globally, because my initial response would have probably been global domination. I want to be everywhere. I want to be this, but I really want our brand to be able to touch people the way that I see my clients, respond to me. Or when people message me on Instagram and say, oh my God, I'm wearing your lipstick and it hasn't come off all day. I feel so confident. I feel so sexy. I'm on a date with my husband. I feel so beautiful. It just gives me this feeling of, wow, I was able to do that.
I might be sending you that message, by the way, at some point.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. No.
What, you feel confident?
No. I'm playing. I might send you the message of I'm wearing your lipstick and I'm feeling so sexy.
So are you going to? Because I would happily. That's what I'm saying. Are you? You're telling the wrong person, because I will happily send you some lipstick for your wife as well.
Sure. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. Why not?
I will send your wife some lipstick.
Yeah.
Tell me what she likes.
She would love it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you know.
And some concealer for you. I don't think you'll wear lipstick, would you?
No problem. Unlikely. It's unlikely.
No.
Not yet, but you never know what's around the corner. So.
Okay. Well.
But I'm not there. I'm not in the lipstick frame of mind right now.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe in the future. It depends. I mean, once I put it on, maybe I'll be blown away by the results. And there was one thing I wanted to talk to you about, but you don't have to speak about this. But I'm aware that you had corona at some point, and I wanted to know a little bit about that experience and also the effect that it had on your company and the effect that corona and the pandemic is having currently now, in a positive and in a negative, or if there is a negative way. Is that something that you would be okay to talk about?
Of course. I'm honestly, one of the things that is not just what my brand stands for, it's what I stand for. Authenticity is so important. Like when I was in the hospital, I actually came out and did videos to let people, because it was at the beginning of corona when people didn't know what to expect. People in Hong Kong were just out and about partying. They didn't really care about what was happening. And I'm a pretty healthy person. I fast, I eat clean. I'm gluten, dairy, and sugar free. So for it to happen to me, I think a lot of people were like, oh, what? This thing is real? So
Mm.
I came out in public about it and I told everyone, and I'm more than happy to educate people on what I had, which is very different to, I think, what's happening right now. Um, First of all, I was a guinea pig. So it was in March last year. People didn't know, doctors didn't know what was happening.
Oh,
So I
wow.
really thought I was going to die. They injected my stomach. They didn't come near me. The doctors didn't even come to visit me once. Only when I was in the newspapers, Natasha Moor has COVID, they came. So it was a very different scenario. And I understand because they were scared themselves. They didn't know what I had. And they really did treat me like I was going to die. Um, the ECG monitors were on me the whole night. I was sweating. They injected my arm wrong, so it swelled. There were
Oh,
so many things that it was just a nightmare. And I was put in a room with 6 different people. And you're thinking, but why? But how can we share a bathroom when the whole point of this is to be isolated?
that's
And it came
mad.
to a point where they were like, I'm sorry, you can't go to the bathroom as much as you do. I'm like, why? I'm trying to flush all the water. I'm drinking so much water so I can flush out this stupid virus. And I was, working out in my little cubicle. Honestly, I think I went through PTSD after the whole thing, not because of Corona, but because of the situation.
Mm.
It was stressful, and it was something that I hope no one ever has to go through, because I learned a lot. And I think that was when you said, how do you not burn out? I think that was definitely a burnout point, or, the universe telling me to calm down
Mm.
because of all my travels in my life. That was probably the first time in my life I ever was in one place for 34 days in a hospital. Yeah.
And this was in Hong Kong, right?
Hong
So,
Kong.
if in the local system. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I had 2 children, not me, my wife. I was there, but in the local system. And yeah, I can imagine that must have been, it's a different vibe to other places, let's just say.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. Wow.
it was really rough, but you know what? I tried to make the most out of it. 14 days after, I had to take medication every day for 14 days. So 14 days after, they test me every day. So I had about 20 different tests. It was, and it was not how the tests are being done now. It was literally shove it all the way in until you feel it in your brain. Like I can't even explain
Oh,
the torture I went through. My nose would bleed a lot. It was that bad. And now when people are like, your nose bled, like how bad was it?
yeah.
Was bad. But one of the things that I did was I told my dad, I'm gonna go batshit crazy if I don't do something here, if I don't work. And obviously my team were so amazing. My Natasha Moor Cosmetics team, no one wanted me to work. They're like, you're such a workaholic. No, they didn't tell me what problems we had in the business, or actually in the hospital, I worked on our launch for Macy's, which was a really good thing.
Yeah. Distracted
But
you, I
also,
imagine.
it did distract me, but also I got my dad to send me some products, which of course I had to throw because I couldn't bring it out of the hospital. But I got him to send me some cosmetic products so I could start doing tutorials from the hospital and just,
Oh, cool.
showing how to conceal your dark circles or whatever.
Yeah.
And the nurses used to love it. And so they'd like peek. That was and then I became friends with them, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think probably my lowest point at the hospital was when they sent me a toilet pot, and they were like, sorry, you can't keep going to the bathroom. You can pee beside your bed, or, I was like, no, no. I threw a fit. I don't think I've ever been this nightmare before. I was like, no, I can't pee here. This is disgusting.
Yeah, that's terrible. My
Yeah.
goodness me. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Oh,
you,
and also when the person next door to me was cutting her toenails and they kept flying into my room. Oh my God.
oh. Yeah, I can picture my dad's face right now listening to this.
Yeah.
He's going to get very squeamish. He's not a fan of this kind of thing.
Neither am I. Neither
No,
am I.
no,
I'm
I
like,
can imagine.
I was spraying disinfectant every day. I was like, putting candles on. I'm like, what is wrong
Yeah.
with this?
Jeez. Oh, wow. It's great that you came out the other side of it,
I'm
and
so happy I'm out of it.
yeah, wow. What
Yeah.
what a story, what an experience.
It was a year, that's for sure. And a few months after Corona, I just got out of the hospital. I went straight back into work. I was, again, like I said, I was definitely depressed after. It was my 30th birthday as
Mm.
well. And so I was not myself. I was so unhappy. I don't know what was wrong with me. Obviously, post-traumatic stress disorder is a real thing. And I think people don't realize that everyone must have gone through that. Just
Mm.
from being on lockdown, I think
Yeah, I
you
think
would
so
have it,
many have.
right?
Yeah, so many have for sure.
And so it just tore me apart. It was a nightmare. And yeah, I guess, oh, and a couple months after that, I was so heavily back into working. I was lifting, obviously we didn't have people working on the team as much because of Corona. So I was packing boxes for Sephora and shipping them out and doing everything myself, that I lifted one of a really, really heavy box and I got a hernia and I
Oh,
had to have a surgery. So this was only
oh
a
my
couple months ago.
word.
So
You
2020
went
was,
through it. Yeah, you went through it,
uh,
didn't you?
yeah,
Wow.
2020 was interesting. And then when I got the opportunity to go to Dubai for a bride, that's another story. I went
Yeah.
and they announced that Hong Kong would have a 21-day quarantine. And I was like, I am not staying in one room the way I did in a hospital. No way.
No,
No
no,
way.
no.
So I moved.
So you
I
moved.
moved countries.
Well, it was probably a wise thing. Yeah. I mean, Hong
Right.
Kong went through a very difficult period. I think it's getting better now, but yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of friends still based out there, and
Yeah, it's so
um,
sad.
but anywho, let's lift it up again. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing that for us.
No, of course.
We're going to jump straight into a game. Would you believe?
Okay.
It's a bit of would you rather. I'm going to ask you 5 questions and just sort of spit out the first thing that comes to mind, and
Okay.
then your final thoughts, and then that's the end of the episode.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go for it. Number one. Would you rather be so afraid of heights that you can't go to the second floor of a building, or be so afraid of the sun that you can only leave the house on rainy days?
That's so weird. I guess so afraid of heights because how can you, yeah. How could you well, this is a
Some
really
people,
interesting question.
some people go through this, fear of heights, and
Yeah.
can't go higher than second floor.
Yeah, I think that's more livable though, because if you wouldn't be able to go out, that's another story. That's
Yeah, I mean, you would have to go out on rainy days only,
and
which is
I
weird.
would not want to go out on a rainy day and ruin my hair and
No.
makeup and my shoes and my clothes.
So you're going
No,
to take the first option.
I'll take the first one. I'll be
Okay.
scared of heights then.
Very good. All right, number 2. Would you rather never get angry or never be envious?
Never be envious. I think envy is a killer.
Yeah, not a
I think
nice one.
envy is the root of all evil, actually.
Well, yeah, I think you might be right there, actually.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. Would you rather have a horribly corrupt government or no government?
No government.
Okay.
I guess.
Number 4. Would you rather be held in high regard by your parents or your friends?
That's so
They're
interesting.
tricky ones, aren't they?
It's a very tricky one. I guess friends, because parents will always look at you as their little baby. And of course, they'll always have high regards for you, but they'll always have constructive criticisms for you. So of course that would be nice for them to to look at me and be like, wow, I'm so proud. But I think that will come naturally anyways as your child. Like, even if I know if I had a child, even if he did something silly, I'd be like, oh my baby, so I feel like
My
he'll
children
always
do silly
have
things all the
that,
time. Sometimes I respond like
right?
that.
Yeah, like even if they do that, or like even if it's a puppy or something that's yours,
Yeah.
a child or a puppy, they do something silly, you're suddenly so proud of them.
Yeah,
I
true.
think it's the same with friends, I guess.
Okay. All right, good, friends. And lastly, number 5, would you rather humans go to the moon again or go to Mars?
To the moon again, because I just love the moon. And
Love
it's
them.
full moon today, by the way.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah.
It's a full
I
moon.
knew that.
I
I
do a
knew
lot
that.
on
I
moon.
totally knew that. That's why I picked that one. Good. Thank you so much for that. And lastly, your final thoughts for the episode, please, Natasha. Something positive and uplifting for our audience on dealing with positive and negative change, that sort of thing. And then we're done.
Okay. Well, I think everyone goes through a lot in their life, and it's always easy to say, "Oh, wow, you've had a really easy life," or you could to compare. I'm also guilty of comparison. Social media can be a horrible, great and good thing, right? So
Mm,
social media can be something that is also quite. It's again, you become envious. And
mm,
that is why I said it's the root of all evil. I think one of the things I'm working on personally is to not be envious of anything and just to know and focus on myself, believe in myself, and know that I'm here for a purpose in life. To
mm.
understand what your purpose is probably your best bet to succeed.
I like
So if you believe in yourself and if you know what your purpose is, just keep following and focusing on that goal, and everything will be okay.
amazing.
That's my advice for
Love
any
it.
business entrepreneur or anyone, even with your children, even moms who are watching. I think they're always stressed about, am I raising my child right? I have so many people come to me and ask me for advice, and I think the best thing to say to them is just, what's your goal, what's your focus,
Mm,
and what's
mm,
your purpose in life? If you're
mm,
focusing on that, and if you're achieving your purpose, mine is to make people happy through
mm.
cosmetics, through the charities that I work with, through working with special needs, all of that. The end goal is to make people happy, and I've just realized that recently.
Wow. I have that. Yeah, I have some of those thoughts as well when it comes to raising of children. Also,
It's
it's a,
hard, I'm sure.
it's a big pressure. Yeah, making sure that you're doing it right, and you don't really know. You just do what you think is best, and
But
yeah.
if you know your purpose is just to make them amazing children and, get them, make them the happiest people in the world, then I actually learned a lot of this from my boyfriend. He's a very positive human being. And I thought I was positive till I met him. He's actually guided me through some, even yesterday, he gave me this long lecture and about being positive and not being negative about things. And
Mm,
he always puts me in my place, which is really good.
very good. Very good. All right. Thank you so much for coming on today,
Thank
Natasha. It's
you.
been really lovely talking to you, and
You too.
I wish you well, and
Thank